Okay, I just spotted Bitnami's security pivot, hardened images, a new secure catalog, and CVE transparency. But what does that mean for real deployments and teams?
Right, they're migrating older tags to a Bitnami legacy repo and encouraging production use only with Bitnami secure images. Curious about practical steps.
Wait, seriously? So developers can't rely on the old, familiar images anymore, or at least they'll be steered toward the hardened ones? That's a big shift.
Not immediately, but the plan is clear. Fewer, better secured options, SBOMs, attestations, and quicker patching. The trade-off is flexibility for speed.
That's one way to look at it, but doesn't that assume teams will embrace compliance culture? What about legacy apps that barely run on lean images?
I see your point, and the evidence is mixed. Some users want minimal attack surfaces, others need legacy compatibility. Bitnami's path prioritizes security.
Think of it like upgrading from a roomy old car to a newer, safer model with fewer features. That could slow you down if you're racing against patch cycles.
Here's the wow moment. Bitnami promises SBOMs, images updated within hours of upstream patches and attestation signatures. That could change supply chain defense.
Layering in vulnerability scanning, Trivy, and gripe during PRs means issues are spotted before merging. The automation feels like a security-focused accelerator.
Definitely, but the tools aren't perfect. They might miss some 0 days or false positives, and scanning coverage depends on the image complexity.
Another wow, minimal photon Linux base reduces the attack surface without sacrificing compatibility. It's like shaving unnecessary components from a Swiss Army knife.
Love the analogy, but we should note a smaller OS may break edge case apps if essential dependencies aren't in the trimmed repo or available.
Okay, but the catalog move, August 28th, 2025, means a period where images go to Bitnami legacy and aren't updated. How long will teams wait?
Exactly, there's a deprecation horizon. For production, you're urged to use secure images. Legacy remains for a while but won't receive new patches.
And what about tagging? Only latest tags for hardened images in development, version tags move to legacy and may be static. That changes release strategies.
Yes, you might shift from pinning 250 to pinning latest of Bitnami secure images, forcing CI to recheck compatibility with new base layers.
Let me wrap my head around Docker Compose scenarios. They say each app folder has a Docker Compose, IML you can curl, then upd. It's a one-click starter.
True, but you still need to configure volumes, secrets, and network policies. The ease is in the starter, not the full production hardening.
Now the vulnerability scan piece is interesting. Two engines, Trivy and Gripe, triggered on every PR. That's aggressive, maybe heavy for big repos.
Also, false positives can be annoying, and some scanners require permission to access vulnerabilities databases. Still, it elevates diligence.
Retention policy adds a twist. Deprecated assets stay in the registry for 6 months, then move to archived. Some shells get 1 year coexistence.
That sounds reasonable for ops, but it creates confusion. Which image is actually supported in prod? The roadmap needs clear guidance.
Bitnami's secure images include not just SBOMs, but KEV, VEX, and attestation signatures. It's a lot to digest, but conceptually it's supply chain hygiene.
Yes, but the caveat: enterprise access may be gated behind licenses. Free tier is limited to a subset. The business model shifts.
Another caveat, moving to secure-only images might require reworking Helm charts and environment assumptions across clusters, especially if you relied on Debian quirks.
On the upside, the standardization across containers, VEX, SBOMs, and signatures could simplify audits and compliance conversations.
Let's talk about building images yourself. The guide shows Docker build with app version OS. It's flexible, but does it defeat the security push?
It doesn't defeat, it complements. Building locally means you must ensure your Docker file is hardened and that you're pulling trusted base layers.
Another point, Photon Linux as the base is interesting, lightweight and audited, but some devs lean Debian or Alpine and worry about compatibility and tooling.
Compatibility is the crux. Bitnami aims to keep same components across images and VM cloud formats to ease switching between Kubernetes, VMs, or containers.
Clarity around vulnerability scanning during PRs, Trivy and Gripe, makes me wonder about performance costs on large monorepos.
Performance costs exist, but the security payoff could outweigh them. The key is configuring caches, parallel scans, and selective scanning strategies.
Now the licensing angle, Commercial Edition offers full catalog and support. Free tier is restricted, that's a real business model consideration.
Correct. If teams need the entire catalog and enterprise support, they'll likely pay. For hobby projects, secure images cover development needs.
We should consider the risk. Migration to legacy repos could create fragmentation if teams drift between sources.
Also, deprecation cycles require governance. Who decides when to move to a newer base? Who validates compatibility and how fast you patch?
From a personal angle, this reminds me of supply chain hardening trends. Smaller bases, better traceability, and faster incident response.
Yes, but the nuance is real. Smaller bases reduce risk, yet longer build times and patch windows can slow feature delivery, which is a real trade-off.
Peak insight moment, this shift isn't just a product tweak. It redefines how teams plan releases, audits, and even grant access to images.
Agreed. If adoption scales, it could push the industry toward uniform security baselines across cloud-native stacks, simplifying integrations.
Okay, synthesis idea. Secure images, legacy and latest tags, SBOMs, attestations, vulnerability scans. It's a whole ecosystem of trust.
Right, and the question becomes, will teams move fast enough to keep pace with patches, and will audits keep up with policy changes?
Line 43 now. This shift is a blueprint for future releases. Security, traceability, and governance all stitched into how you ship software.
Exactly, the big question is rollout reality. Will teams adopt the process smoothly, or stumble over tooling, licenses, and legacy dependencies?
Final thought, the promise is stronger security with thoughtful migration. The risk is confusion without clear playbooks.
And the big curiosity, how will actual open source users react, embrace standardization, or cling to old habits? Real-world data will tell.
Closing tension, we want safer images, but not at the expense of developer joy. The balance will define Bitnami's reputation.
To end on a hopeful note, this prompts revisiting fundamentals, least privilege, image provenance, rapid patching, as enduring practices.
Given all that, which part excites you most? The SBOMs and attestations, the legacy migration, or the PR time vulnerability workflow?
Honestly, I'm most excited about the security ecosystem strengthening, but I'm wary of rollout challenges. The next 6 months will reveal the real magic.